All right, all right. As we get people to join us, thank you all for joining. Thank you all for coming. Please keep sharing. We have Susan Mount in the house. We have Susan Mount on the leadership standard today. Special guest. So please keep sharing as we get more people to join us. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, Susan Mount, for being here.
Thank you for allowing me to be here.
Let's get more people to share. Let's get more people to share. Please keep sharing, keep sharing, keep sharing. Get more people to share. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Biafra and Doom. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for please make sure you share.
Thank you all.
Make sure you all are sharing the page. Make sure you all are sharing the page. Let's get more people here. Thank you all for coming. We'll be starting shortly. As we have more people to join us, we'll be starting shortly. So please keep liking, keep sharing the page. I hope you all can hear us clearly. We'll be starting shortly. We just want to get more people to join us. The leadership standard is live. We're live, and we're direct right now with Susan Mount. So let's get going. Let's get going. Keep sharing while I play some nice music to set up the whole scene. Thank you all for turning out. Thank you for coming. Alrighty, I don't want to waste so much time. I know a lot of people have a lot of things to do. So thank you for coming, Susan Mount. Let me do a brief introduction for those who don't know you, okay?
Okay.
So Susan Mount, as she's known, was born and raised in Nebraska. She's a human rights activist as well as a healthcare worker. Susan, before she moved to the south of the United States, where she lived in both Georgia and Mississippi in the United States of America. Susan believes in the freedom of everyone, most especially the Igbo tribe of West Africa. She has constantly campaigned for the release of unjustly incarcerated people in Nigeria and is also at the forefront for the fight for liberation of all indigenous people seeking freedom from Nigeria. Susan also campaigns for Christians that have been murdered, raped by terrorist organizations existing as well in northern Nigeria. She's well versed in social, political, and economic issues and has always been interested in speaking up for the protection of religious freedom and liberties. She believes that a fight for freedom, or for a fight for Christians in Nigeria, came from a revelation where she prayed to God to lead her path and make her do things greater than herself, which led her to fight for Nigerian Christians with a focus on Biafra. So we have Susan Mount in the house. Thank you, Susan, for being here again.
Thank you.
That was a brief introduction of you and what you're all about. Let's start with the first question on everyone's mind. Susan, what was your first introduction to Biafra? To what is known as Biafra today?
Well, my first introduction, like you said, I had a revelation where I got down on my knees and prayed to God and asked him to lead my path and guide me to do things greater than myself, which led me on another path of meeting some immigrants that were crossing through Libya, through the Mediterranean Sea into Europe. So I wanted to know why. Why are these immigrants moving in large numbers to Europe? So I started talking to a few immigrants themselves and that survived Libya. And they started to tell me all of the gruesome details in Libya. And I started studying it and started studying why these terrorists are doing it. I kind of looked into what's going on and, what their thinking and logic is. And in the process, I started advocating for Christians in Nigeria, which then led me to Biafrans, which are predominantly Judeo-Christians in Nigeria. So from then, I started seeing Biafrans posting their flags, their marches that they were having, agitating for freedom. And I'm a firm believer that we have God-given rights to freedom. And I started seeing horrible things. And I was like, I have to do something. Something in my spirit told me I have to do something.
Awesome. Yeah, and for those who are asking, I think Caroline Uchenner, it's on Twitter. This is also on Twitter, on my Twitter page, Buchilaw Law's You on Twitter. So if you guys want to go on Twitter as well and share on Twitter, or whoever is watching right now, please also share on Facebook as well. So Susan, thank you so much for that introduction.
Thank you.
And so we all know that there is injustice everywhere in the world. Why are you so focused on the Biafran people?
I fell in love with Biafran people. I feel like I'm a family with Biafran people. I love their drive. I love their persistence. I love their bravery. I'm getting goosebumps as I'm talking to you.
That's nice.
I love their freedom fighting. They're the light. They're the light in that dark continent right now. And I feel the spirit in them. I feel the spirit. And Biafrans do not deserve this. They do not deserve this. And I just feel a connection. I feel a spiritual connection. And I feel like a family with the Biafran people.
Great. And now you said a spiritual connection.
Yes.
And that spiritual connection, from what I gather from you, it comes from your Christian background, correct?
Yeah, for the most part. It comes from my Christian background, but I love people in general. And, Biafrans are God-fearing people, and I am too. And I connect spiritually to that. There's just a spiritual connection. I don't know how to put it into words, but I almost feel like I'm there, and I put myself in their shoes. And being amongst them, I want to be amongst them. I want to be there helping. So, my spirit drives me to want to be there next to them. And my heart feels for them as if they're my own family. So I just feel a spiritual connection. And it mostly could be through my Christianity, but it comes through being a human being. I want to fight for other human beings, and this is where God led me.
Yes, totally. So pretty much, you being a white woman, most people would say that, do you think that, and I don't want to create a race, bait you or anything. Now, as a white woman who stands as an ally for the Biafran people, what are you doing to ensure that you don't come off as having this white savior, mentality that people might throw at you?
Okay. Well, I don't see this as a racial issue or even a religious issue. I see this as a good versus evil issue. So to me, I'm not going to argue about race because, can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now. Go on.
Okay. I'm not going to argue with people regarding this as being a racial issue. I don't see it as a racial issue. I see this as a good versus evil issue. I see this as Biafrans are fighting evil that's coming up against them. And I would want the same thing from them if I was going through the same thing. So me, it's not like, it's not a racial thing to me. It's a people thing. It's a human thing, a humanity thing. It's a spiritual thing. And when you think spiritually, you know that there's not a white or black heaven. So to me, I'm going where God led me, and this is who I'm going to fight for, because God pushes my spirit to fight for Biafrans. It's not I want attention kind of thing. I'm actually putting work and doing the work that I need, that, God pushes me to do.
Great. Thank you so much for that. Because a lot of people might be thinking about that. And that's why I asked you that question, so that you can clarify that you're doing this because of it's a God assignment. It's an assignment that you feel you got from God, just to help the people of Biafra. Now, and knowing well the politics in Nigeria, what's your opinion on the current state of affairs? Looking outward, what would you say is currently going on in Nigeria, and how can the Nigerian government solve the issue of Biafra?
Well, the Nigerian government needs to just let Biafra go, because the Nigerian government, in my eyes, has been hijacked by terrorists and the sponsors of terrorists. And it's coming out of their own mouths. They can try to blame everybody that they want to blame, but out of their own military leaders' mouths, they are forgiving crimes of terrorists and shooting innocent people that are protesting, including Biafrans.
Right.
It's, to me, the government has been hijacked, and Nigeria is a ticking time bomb. That's how I see it.
And now you said Nigeria is a ticking time bomb.
Yes.
And now you also mentioned that, you also alluded to the fact that, they are sponsoring terrorists in Nigeria.
The government has been hijacked. I mean, they put terrorists in uniform, and there's evidence out there. I have, whatever I say, I have the evidence to back it up. And the Nigerian government and the terrorist sponsors that are in high positions in military, police, and the government know exactly what I'm talking about, because there's evidence out there. And they've basically hijacked Nigeria. They hijacked Nigeria, literally.
And what has been your personal interactions with Nigerian authorities when advocating for Biafra?
I feel like my government's not doing enough. I feel like the international community governments are not doing enough. So in the interim, when I see people being unjustly arrested or unjustly imprisoned or unjustly terrorized or tortured or raped, I'm going to open my mouth. Literally, I'm not going to be afraid. I will either call people in the Nigerian government or police and advocate for those people. I'm going to go online and advocate for these people and address the Nigerian government through social media. Hopefully they're listening.
I believe you keep doing that. And so tell us some of the things that you've done, and what has been the reaction? What has been the reaction of the Nigerian government towards you?
Most of the time they hang up on me, but I am persistent. And, I want to direct the leaders that have the most problem. Okay. Because honestly, I do not believe Buhari. I believe there's a fake Buhari in there. I really do. He hasn't come out to address his people. Okay. So some of the tactics I use is to keep the pressure on them. Come on, come out, address your people. Things are happening in the country. Terrorists are running the country. They're being forgiven crimes. They're being put in military and police uniforms and sent to Biafra land and Southwest Oduduwa land to persecute Christians. And that's what it is. That's what it is. How can you, in one side of your mouth, say that you're going to fight Boko Haram, and then the other side of your mouth, you're going to forgive their crimes if they repent? And who's on ground watching these repentant Boko Haram? The evidence is out there and clear. And I have called my own government, and I have tried to get people in the international community and the U.S. to wake up and be aware what's going on over there with evidence. I don't just say something. I don't just believe anything. I look with evidence, and I present with evidence. I have been able to talk to certain government officials here in the U.S. I've been talking to some other Americans and other Christians that are tired of what's going on over there with Christians. And it's just a matter of getting the word out there and getting people to move. Right.
And do you think, and from your reaction with the international community, you being an international yourself, how has the reaction been towards this Biafra? What difficulties have you faced even with the international community?
In the international community, the difficulties I face is getting people to be interested. What can I tell people right off the bat so that they're interested in listening to what I have to say. Another issue is getting my government. My government is listening because I am speaking to U.S. officials, and I do have communication lines open.
Right.
And the next thing is, why do people not see what I see? Why do they see that it's wrong to forgive terrorists? It's wrong to forgive terrorists and then to murder innocent protesters. To me, the getting people to see what the people want in Nigeria versus what the government wants. We're listening too much to the hijacked government of Nigeria. We need to start listening to the people. And that is my goal, is to tell more Americans about what's truly going on there with evidence. So getting them to listen, give up their daily lives, take a minute, let's talk about this, let's fight for humanity, that kind of thing. Another thing is division. People are so busy arguing about religion, race, everything. Let's talk about freedom first. Let's talk about freedom and fixing things that are going on over there in Nigeria regarding humanitarian crisis. I just don't understand it. I'm like several other people that I've spoken with in America and in the international community. We don't understand why this is being allowed in Nigeria, but we are going to get to the bottom of it and find out, because Biafrans don't deserve this. Neither do the Oduduwas or the Christian, any type of good person or Christian in Nigeria or in Biafra land deserve this at all.
Right. And what again would you say is the long-term effect if the international community keeps ignoring what's happening in Biafra or in Nigeria? What will be the long-term effect of that to the international community as a whole?
Well, I think the number one effect is it's going to make us look like we sponsor terrorists, because the terrorists are going to try to kill off every Christian in Nigeria. And we're not sponsors of terrorists in the U.S. That's not how I want to be represented in the U.S. Another thing is, if the terrorists succeed in taking over more and more of Nigeria and other African countries, like they've gone on record saying they're going to, then they can get visas to come over to the U.S. And the Nigerian government's not even seeing who these people are. They're from the Sahel. There's terrorists from the Sahel coming over to Nigeria and getting citizenship, and they can get a visa to fly right on over here. So, plus people can they can attempt to exterminate Christians, but it's not going to happen. I'm a true believer in God. They can attempt to exterminate Christians, but there will be a fight back. Right.
And now I know that ultimately this sort of feels like a war between, as you said, good and evil. Yes. But again, the target, it seems like, from what I'm getting from you, it seems like the target is Christians. And most Biafrans are Christians.
Judeo-Christians. Biafrans practice Judaism and Christianity. Same thing. I support Judaism, and I am not ashamed to say I'm a Christian.
Totally. And I believe there is a religious freedom that most parts of the world, especially democratic societies, should. Yes. And how do you think the Nigerian system of government is sort of like shuffling that democratic freedom of religion in Nigeria? What would you say about that?
Well, there's proof that they are trying to shift away from democracy. There's councils in the north that are put on by terrorist sponsors that want to change democracy in Nigeria and change it more to their laws than what they believe. And it's not right, because not every Nigerian citizen or Biafran, it's not a regime. It's not Hitler. It's people. It's a free country. And little by little, people are encroaching on the democracy and freedom of Nigerians. All you have to do is look around. The evidence is already out there. They have councils that they put together. that try to change the constitution of Nigeria or secretly do things under the people of Nigeria's noses without the people even knowing or agreeing to it.
Right.
You know, they're putting terrorist sponsors in high positions in Senate, in the government, and they're changing laws without listening to the other senators who happen to be from the Southeast or the Southwest. You know, they're not allowing them to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So they're slowly taking away democracy little by little.
Right. And most people will say that Nigeria is a center place in Africa's development, and whatever happens to Nigeria ultimately affects the whole of Africa.
Yes.
Why then would you say that whenever the name Biafra is mentioned, most people find it sort of threatening, whether in Nigeria or whether in other parts of the world? They just, people talk about the Holocaust that happened to the Jews. People talk about the Rwanda genocide. People talk about, what happened in Vietnam. But whenever people raise up what happened in Biafra, it seems like there's this don't talk about this, scare for war. What's your opinion about that? And how can the government change the narrative of that?
I guess I need to understand more what your question is.
So my question is, in terms of the narrative, the Biafra narrative seems to be a narrative where people feel very hurt talking about, but it's not going anywhere. It's still there. Yeah. There is the Holocaust. People still talk about the Holocaust today. There's a Remembrance Day for that, but the Holocaust. But most people don't want to talk about the Biafra because there's always this sense of quiet it down, don't talk about it. The past is the past, forget about it. What would you say to Nigerians who try to quiet it down, or to the Nigerian government, what they can do to even in America? Yeah, we see how people talk about Black lives and encourage Black diversity.
Right.
What would you say needs to be done in Nigeria to effect that cause, where people are free to talk about Biafra without fear of their lives?
I feel like you should not suppress the people talking about Biafra, because Biafra is democracy. And why are people trying to suppress something that's, why are you trying to suppress good people? Even the Nigerian government right now has more soldiers and police down in the Southeast that is predominantly peaceful people, and not a lot of crimes like in the North.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, there shouldn't be silence, but
right.
there is, because when there's a good versus evil battle, of course, when there's good coming out, or there's a goodness of people there, the evil always follows behind and tries to suppress it and keep the bad secrets from coming out. To me, the Nigerian government is trying to suppress what is going on in Biafra. And they've done a good job taking over the media. In Nigeria, the media don't speak about any of the horrific things happening there.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's our responsibility to be a voice for those people. The Biafran people are the most brave people and persistent people that I know. Mm-hmm. And they don't deserve this. They don't deserve this at all. And to me, the reason the Nigerian government wants to keep it silent, because they want to suppress the truth and not let the international community find out what's truly going on. And that's what I truly believe.
And, you again being an international, a foreigner, what would you say, how did you get so much knowledge about what's going on in Biafra? A lot of people don't know how much you know. And I'm asking this question for other people who might be watching from other parts of the world, whatever race they are, whatever nationality they come from. How can they get to know more about Biafra, or about what's going on, the injustice going on in Nigeria?
Well, I say listen to your spirit. If you come across something and you see people posting several things about atrocities and torture and unjust killings, and just like the Lekki toll gate right now, and all the Biafrans that have been killed, you have to speak up. It's a spiritual thing. Biafra is a spirit, literally. It's a spiritual thing. If you don't think spiritually, you don't understand it. But to me, to remain silent, you're just as guilty. You're just as guilty to see something and remain silent. So if somebody reaches you or you see something online and you see how unjust it is, you look into the root of the problem. Just like when I didn't know anything about Biafra. Okay. I started with immigrants going to Europe. Then I was like, I need to get to the root of the problem. What's going on? Not this many people go to Europe for nothing. I want to dig into this deeper. And you dig and you dig and you study and you talk to people and you do your research. And that's what I suggest people do. And then you'll stand up for the right thing every time. And standing up for Biafra is the right thing. That is the right thing.
Totally. This question came from one of our guests, and they asked if there is sort of like a union or like where international people, or maybe you've thought about something like that, where you can create like a union of international people fighting for Biafra.
Yes.
Is there something like that in the works, or are you working on anything like that?
Yes, I'm in the works of discussing that now. I want anybody in the international community, I don't care who you are, who wants to fight for people being hurt unjustly in Biafra, or lovers of Biafrans, or lovers of people that love freedom. I want them to come and join me. We need to come together and help be a voice for the people over there, since the media don't want to talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about it, but we can. We have freedom of speech here. We can do that, and we need to come together. Enough is enough. Enough people have been raped. I have a problem with women being raped, and especially by the military, who is supposed to protect you, not be a criminal against you. I have a problem with that. And a lot of other women do too. So I am networking. I'm talking to some people here in America. I'm talking to people all over in Europe, UK. We have to come together and help fight for these people. Enough is enough. The UN is not doing anything. Our governments are not doing anything. Don't get me wrong. I love the United States. I love my freedom here, but we have to fight. I ask them, why are we fighting for people being persecuted in other countries, but we're not doing anything in Nigeria? Why? There's more persecuted Christians in Nigeria than in some of these countries that we're fighting for.
Right.
And the silence is deafening. The silence is deafening to me. And I'm not going to put up with it no more. I want to put together international, if you are in support of freeing people, I want you to contact me. I'm on Facebook. Contact me. The international community needs to stand up. Those people in Biafra land are brave souls, and they deal with horrendous things on a daily basis. I couldn't even imagine myself being in that position.
Right.
Sorry, I get kind of passionate about it.
No, please be very, we love, this passion is needed in our show. We love all our guests to be as passionate as you are when we're talking on topics that, that interest them, like this for Biafra. Now I want to ask you this question again. Now, what's your opinion about the group, the indigenous people of Biafra? And also, what's your opinion about the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? What's your view on him?
I think Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is one of the best people of all times. Not only, people try to put him down. Let me tell you, they have no leg to stand on, like we say in America. Just because you're hating on him doesn't make him a bad person and make you good. I like to put action first instead of words. Nnamdi Kanu, I like to call him MNK. Okay. Nnamdi Kanu has fought for other people. He was in prison and was tortured and sacrificed for other people. If they think this is easy, fighting for freedom and fighting for people, especially in the world, and against a terrorist hijacked government called Nigeria. It is not easy. You never have peace. And for this man to be so selfless and spiritual, not only that, he puts God above everything, but to be so selfless and fight for people and try to bring people together. You know, yeah, he has stern words for people. And yes, people don't want to hear it. But you know what? I call it tough love. You don't want to hear it because you know it's true. You have to come together. The enemy loves to see Biafrans divided. Nnamdi Kanu don't want that. He wants Biafrans to come together. United we stand, divided we fall. Freedom first. Freedom comes first. Then if you want to, you know, you want to separate after that, fine. But freedom should come first. And Nnamdi Kanu, for him to sacrifice, I don't know how the man does it. I really don't. I have a great love and respect for him. And I connect with him on a spiritual level. I've never met him in person, but I connect with him on a spiritual level because everything that I'm thinking in my spirit, he comes out and talks about it. So I know he's on a spiritual quest. Totally. And it's to fight for other people and to give up himself and fight for other people. That's what it is.
Do you think, you probably know this already, the Nigerian government proscribed the group, the indigenous people of Biafra, as terrorists. Do you think the fight for the call for freedom from a country should they be regarded as terrorists?
No. And the Nigerian government has nothing to stand on the fact of them being terrorists when they themselves can't even prescribe Miyetti Allah as terrorists, or Gumi can go and meet terrorists in the bush and you don't even see a Nigerian soldier or police asking Gumi, where are these terrorists at, and going after them. But you have innocent people who stay in their own land. They don't go and invade villages. The Biafrans don't go and rape women and take over land and say, you know, I'm going to take over Nigeria. They don't do that. What makes them terrorists? Because they're speaking out against injustice and jihadism and being free. That does not prescribe you as a terrorist group.
Right.
And I mentioned this to my government officials, that if push comes to shove, if the people of Nigeria and the good people in Biafra have to fight back, because, you know, I'm not sure if it was here in the US and we had a bunch of terrorists invading our country and coming here and raping, killing every day, somebody dies, or taking over the military or police and really guarding and beating us in the street just by looking wrong. Trust me, people are going to get tired of it here and they're going to fight back. So my concern is, and what I want to convey to my government is, if the people in Biafra land have to fight back, we better not be going over there and trying to help a hijack terrorist sponsoring government to fight against people that are lovers of democracy and freedom and fighting for their rights.
Right. That's a good point. That's a good point you made.
Yes. So, you know, even if my government is not going to go over there and help, which obviously, you know, I'm kind of disgusted at some things that have been going on. You know, I want them to realize, if this happened to us, I even asked this particular government official, I said, if people that attacked on 9/11, the terrorists, if our government invited them and forgave them of all their crimes, even if they were repentant, and invited them in the community and into the military and put them in high military positions and police, how would you feel? How would you feel about that? And then if we protested against that and we were shot and murdered by military who's supposed to protect us and our country, how would you feel? You can't just sit down and lay down and die waiting in your house for the next terrorist to come and kill you. Eventually, you're going to have to defend yourself. And Nnamdi Kanu, this is why I respect him. He tried the peaceful way. He tried to convey this to the governments of the world and to the UN. He tried everything he knows how to do peacefully. And no one is listening or opening their eyes to what's going on. What is left to do when they come to your house and saying, I'm going to murder you? What are you going to do? Just sit there and your children suffering? No. You're going to be, if it was me, I would defend my children. Right. I would be like, I got to do something.
I believe the American Constitution allows for the right to bear arms. Yes. To protect oneself. And looking at that, tying that to what you say about self-defense. Yeah. Self-defense is a right. You have the right to defend yourself. So does that tie into the Eastern Security Network set up by the IPOB? That creates a valid claim, right?
Yes. The Eastern Security Network isn't going around taking over people's land. They're defending people. There's old women being raped that go to their farms. And they're being gang raped. Sorry for saying it, but I'm just upfront. Okay?
Go ahead.
This is not okay. There is women's body parts being chopped up and left in the bush. And the government officials, the eastern governors, southeastern governors are not doing anything to protect people. All they see is dollar signs and getting this or that or the other. Okay. Mm-hmm. The police, you can't trust the police because the Nigerian terrorist sponsoring government's too busy putting jihadists in police uniforms and the military and sending them down to the southeast where it's predominantly peaceful. Why is there more police and military down in the southeast where people are more peaceful? Mm-hmm. That's another question I have. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to me. It's not hard to see. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see what's going on here.
Right. And now we see the current affairs of what's going on in Nigeria with the rise of the Oduduwa Nation and Sunday Igboho, who's also advocating for the Oduduwa Nation. What's your take on that? What do you think about that?
I think it's awesome because they're starting to go through the same thing and have been, and I'm glad they're opening their eyes because they're women too, raped, they're people too, villages being taken over. I mean, you've got where is it in Benin? The Benin village. Mm-hmm. I forget the name of the village. Is it Oyo? Somewhere in Yoruba land. Okay. Yeah. There's people that they don't have a home to go to. Their homes have been invaded.
Yeah. I think you meant Ibadan, right? Ibadan. Is that what you wanted to say?
Yes. Yes. In Oyo State, right?
In Oyo State, yeah. Right.
Yes.
So pretty much you feel like you're encouraging them to keep advocating for secession too, right?
If you don't put up a self-defense, I don't even call it a fight, I call it a self-defense, then it's going to continue to occur. And it's going to be heartbreak after heartbreak after heartbreak. Children, live babies thrown in fires. This is what some of these terrorists are doing. Throwing live babies into fires, chopping people up, raping women, chopping them up, killing. It's ridiculous. I saw a guy with his hands and feet tied together, hanging from a tree, with police and military uniformed men lighting a fire under the guy while he's hanging from a tree. This is not right. This is not right. How much evidence does the international community need? I'm sorry, I'm getting very passionate again.
No, but listen,
it's not right. This is why I cannot stay quiet. I cannot stay quiet no longer. Mm-hmm. And this is why I buck up against the Nigerian government, because they have shown time and time again, they do not care. They do not care about the Southeast and Southwest. They are forgiving terrorists through their own mouths and their own military leaders. And for the international community to know that there's an Operation Safe Corridor, that should not even have existed. Why is the international community even allowing, or condoning that terrorists can be repentant? And who's watching these terrorists when they're released? But yet you are arresting and incarcerating innocent people. And not only that, torturing them.
Right.
I haven't seen in the Nigerian news where they tortured a Boko Haram or a terrorist or incarcerated them for very long. Where are they at? Where are these terrorists? I can't keep silent no more. I can't.
Totally. And I want to ask you this question as we round up. How has been the support of the Biafrans towards you? Have you gotten support from them in terms of like moral support, emotional support, whatever? How have they been responding towards you?
We're an emotional support for each other. We are human beings to human beings. And even though I'm not going through what they're going through right now, I feel their pain. I put myself in that position. I don't feel their total pain. Don't get me wrong. But I want to be their support system too. I want to be a voice for them. They are the most brave people. I don't understand how you can survive this many years living under such hell. And like I said, that's why I admire Nnamdi Kanu. He tried the peaceful way. Not one person on this planet can say that Nnamdi Kanu did not try in a peaceful way and bring it to the attention of the international governments. No one can say that because he did.
Yeah.
And I have to be their support. I love their support for me, but I do not consider myself above them. I consider them so brave. Like I look up to them and I want to be an emotional support for them because they deserve it. This is wrong. This is wrong what's going on.
Someone in the comment section asked a question. The person said, will you visit Biafra when Biafra comes?
Yes, and I'll be ready to have a dance off with whoever wants to celebrate with me.
And another person asked if you were married to a Biafran or
no.
No, okay. So that's we have to get.
I'm not married to a Biafran, but I have lots of Biafrans that I love like family.
Totally. Well, I wanted to just say some. I know you've said a lot, and this is just your final thoughts. Whether it's encouraging words to the Biafran people, whether it's some advice to the Nigerian government, whatever it is, what you want to say to the international community, just all of that. Just this is your final spot to just say whatever you feel you want to say that, you feel you have to say it. Please feel free to say whatever right now.
Okay. So I want to address the Biafran people, specifically the people that are living over there in Biafra land. I don't even call it Nigeria. We don't call Biafra land Nigeria. Okay. I know that God is not going to let us down. He's not. I'm getting goosebumps while I'm saying this. My spirit tells me that God is not going to let you down. I know right now it looks bleak. I know right now it's scary. I want you to know that my heart is bleeding for you and I'm praying every day. And I'm doing more than praying. I'm putting my faith to works because faith without works is dead. Persistence is key. And I want y'all to know that I love you so much and I'm doing everything that's within my power. And I pray to God he gives you redemption on this very earth. I pray to God. To the international community, we need to step up our game. These people are dying. They are being tortured, and we are seeing the videos. We cannot just go on with everyday life without trying something. Even if it's just a few hours a week to donate your time, to call the U.S. government. I have phone numbers to call the other governments in other countries to help do something. We have to do it. And we have to come together. Even though we don't have media coverage, we can come on social media and come together and fight for these people. And to the Nigerian government, shame on you. We know out of your own mouths that you are sponsoring terrorists and putting terrorists in high positions and forgiving their crimes and they get to be treated with luxury, while people that are not in your belief system are being slaughtered, prisoned, and tortured. And how dare you do that to humanity? And you know what? You want to store up food in warehouses and make that big money and be the top man having the greatest houses and cars and all that corruption and sponsoring of terrorists. May God have mercy on your soul from an American citizen. And I will be watching what you're doing next and sharing. And that's what I have to say.
Wow, Susan, this is amazing, man. I know that we've spent time, but I'm very conscious of time. And I just want to say thank you so much for pouring your heart, pouring your spirit. For those who don't know, I have been talking to Susan Mount. She is an advocate, an activist, a passionate soul, a lover of freedom, a lover of God, someone who cares and someone who empathizes with the sufferings going on, most especially in Biafra land, in Nigeria. For those who don't know where Biafra is, it's in Nigeria. And today we've had a wonderful conversation. Please follow Susan on Twitter. Follow her on Facebook. Connect with Susan on Twitter. Twitter handle is...
each other. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Let's follow each other and fight for these people in Biafra. They're our fellow human beings.
Totally. So follow her on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is Susan Mount 45, at Susan Mount 45, and follow her on Facebook. If you go on my Facebook, you'll see that we shared together. So follow her as well on Facebook, and prefer solutions. Don't go and start asking us stupid questions like, are you married? Blah, blah, blah. It's gonna, prefer solutions to the problems that you feel he needs to get the job done, or give her more evidence that can support, a fight for Biafrans in the international community. I just want to say, Susan, thank you so much for coming again. And for those who don't know me, my name is Buchilo Okeke. I'm a lawyer, and I am also the CEO of the Leadership Standard. So please follow us on Facebook as well as on YouTube. Let's keep talking. And this month we had our Biafra series. We don't usually talk about Biafra all the time, but we talk about other things, most focused on leadership. We all are looking for great leadership all around the world, and I'm an advocate for great leadership, for good leadership. And we are praying that that leadership finds itself someday in Africa, where Africa can be as developed as the rest of the continents in the world. And on this note, I want to say thank you all for joining us today. Thank you all for your comments. Thank you all for being with us today. We love you all. Please stay strong. Susan Mount loves you, as you can see, and stay strong. And hopefully we'll bring her on again sometime in the future to talk about progress that has been made for the quest for Biafra. Again, love you all. Have a wonderful weekend, and God bless you all for watching. Bye for now. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.